been so interesting, my journey. I feel like I always try to look for people to compare and see how they did things and maybe take the positives and negatives and apply those to what I'm doing. And there really hasn't been that many people that have done what I've done. I'm 5-0 right now. I started training in August of 2021, MMA.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I started
That
training.
really is so funny. That is so fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Dana
it's
White
wild.
originally was like, wait a while.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to get to in the UFC that quick.
So it'll bring me around to the point you made. So what happened was I started training. 4 weeks later, I was like, yo, like let's get a fight. So I took an amateur fight, and just some poor dude like didn't know what he was doing. He was 0-0 or 1-0 amateur. I was 0-0, and he took the fight. And I think a lot of people, there was a lot of question marks. People were like, all right, I don't know, like let's see what's up. And I choked the guy out, and I was like, let's go again. 4 weeks later, I fought my second amateur fight, knocked the dude out cold, and then I was like, all right, well, I wanted to put a show together in my hometown in State College, and so I was working for a few months to get that going, and the PA Athletic Commission is working between my management team, the PA Athletic Commission, and Penn State. There was just too many moving parts. It was tough, and I was like, I need a fight. So I could wait like 4 more months and do this, or I could just get a fight. So then I had trained another 7 months, and I was like, let's do it, pro debut, and that was in June of 2022. And so I'm coming out against another poor guy who thought like he was gonna knock me out or something, and knock him out in 30 seconds on UFC Fight Pass, and it did like the most views in UFC Fight Pass history, like more than any other promotion. It was like something like 3 or 4 million views in the week, and so it did a bunch that night.
There it is.
Yeah, this is it.
Clean strikes for being such a
So this is
dominant
8 months
wrestler.
of
You can
training.
see the amount of work.
It's just, that's what's crazy is that you're such a good striker so quick.
Yeah,
It's really nuts, man. It really is very, very unusual. But I just think it's got to be the same mindset that allowed you to get elite at wrestling. You just program that into striking.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. On top of good, high quality coaches and training partners, like
It's everything. Yeah.
That's everything. And so after this happened, the next morning, UFC, Bellator, ONE FC, PFL, boom, 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 call it. Let's do it. And I'm like, what the frick? Like, I'm 1-0 pro. haven't even trained I've been training 8 months or whatever, 9 months.
So was there hesitancy on your part where you're like, look, I'd like to get some more fights, some more competition, because we've seen it before.
Yeah.
Like Pereira's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a couple fights at the UFC, and then all of a sudden he's fighting for the title.
Yeah. So my initial plan, like before any of this happened, was I'm gonna get 10 fights in the regional scene, and then I'm gonna go to the UFC. I'll be the champ by like 13, 14 fights. Like that's what the plan was. And then after that, it was like everybody kind of knows what's up. Everybody's trying to sign me, and I talked with my manager, and I was like, dude, am I even gonna be able to get a fight? Like, who's gonna fight me? Like on these regional scene promotion, like who's gonna fight me in any of these? And he's like, I'll be honest with you, like nobody's gonna fight you. And I'm like, okay, well, then. In my mind, I'm going to the UFC. Like, these other organizations, I think they do a good job and stuff, but that's not really me. Like, I'm a UFC guy. So, discuss with the UFC, and they're like, hey, well, we can throw you on Contenders. And I'm like, let's do it. And it was a couple months later. So now I'm like, it's on. Like, let's get it rolling. I'm going to fight these Contenders fights. I fight my first fight, choke the guy out in a minute. Dana's like, let's do another fight. I'm like, perfect, let's do it. Like, that's great. So then I fight at the last week of Contender Series, and it's actually a crazy story. So this is going to make me seem like a real dummy, but my gym is like 200 yards away from where I live, and there's a main road that you have to cross to get to it. It's probably like a 40, 45 mile an hour speed limit, but it's not super busy, but it's a little busy. And so I used to, what a one wheel is? Mm-hmm. So I used to ride my one wheel like to and from practice. And I would just do this all the time. And so I'm riding back from training session once, and I'm barefoot. I've got like a Yeti bottle. I've got my phone and wallet and like my flip-flops in my hand, and I've got no shirt on. and I'm just like, it takes like 25 seconds. So I'm just like, zoom, zoom. And I'm going on this road, and my buddy pulls behind me. He's leaving practice too. And then I have another car behind me, and I'm like, oh, frick, like I don't want to make these people wait. I better pick it up. And normally I'm pretty safe on this thing. Like I don't really go crazy, but so you lean forward to go faster. So I'm leaning forward, and I catch the nose on the tip of the nose on the asphalt, and I slam into the ground and roll. And my Yeti, I have like a 64-ounce Yeti. It's flying in the air. My shoes, everything's flying in the air. And I hit and rolled. And I just was like, get off the road. You're going to get hit by a car. So I popped up, grabbed my stuff, and got off the road. And my buddy's sitting there in his car, and he's like, and I was like, oh, I just jumped in the car with him. And I'm like, take me home, bro. And he just pulls into my driveway. And he's like, you all right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm good. Like my shoulder hurts a little bit, but I'm good. And I checked on my app. I was going 23 miles an hour.
Oh, Jesus.
So I was flying. And then, I was like, I'll be fine. Like I kind of hurt, my shoulder hurts a little bit. And then 4 hours later, I like couldn't move my arm. I was like, I could get up to like here, and that was it. And so then I go get X-ray MRI, and I cracked my collarbone, and I had like a separation in my SC joint.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, this was 10 days before I was supposed to fight my second contenders fight. And I was like, dude, what am I going to do? Like, this is terrible. And so I go to the athletic trainer at Penn State, and he's like a magician. He's amazing. He's worked with the wrestling team for 30 years, and he does a lot of like, he's more like Eastern philosophy guy. So we're moving energy through it and doing a few different things. And I started to feel a little better. And I'm about to fly out to Vegas like the next day. And I'm like, well, it's the day before the 2 days before I'm about to fly out. I'm like, okay, if I wake up tomorrow and I don't feel significantly better, like I'm gonna have to pull out this fight. And so I woke up the next day and I was like, all right, it feels okay. It felt better. So I hit pads and like did a couple things, and then I was like, all right, whatever, let's just do it. So let's freaking go into the fight. And I knocked that dude down, hit him in a triangle, choke him out, win the fight in whatever, less than a minute. And I'm like fired up, and I'm like, let's go, let's do it again. Get me in there again December. I tell Dana and Hunter, and they're like, done. And so then everybody's like, he's fighting December. And I got back home, and I was like, maybe we hold off a little bit. So then we pushed my next fight till March. But I don't ride moral of the story, I don't ride the one wheel anymore.
Yeah, fuck those things. Yeah, Jamie broke his ass bone on one of them hoverboards.
Hoverboard, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Similar.
Yeah. So I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But